Greetings, wild ones, wildlings, and indigo brothers and sisters. Welcome to my real life reality TV show. And today I'm going to talk about family bloodlines. Family blood is what I'm going to talk about. Family blood and how there's no loyalty anymore with families, especially in family bloodlines. There's just no loyalty. It seems to be something that just doesn't exist anymore. There's no loyalty to your own blood anymore. It just seems to just not matter. You have brothers and sisters fighting with each other. You have fathers, mothers who will stab their children in the back. Their children will stab their parents in the back. And why? Why is there no loyalty anymore? I just don't get it, because like, I've got a family, I've got my own kids, and I would never do that to my kids. Like, my own family are total assholes. There is no loyalty there in my family at all. And it's all, because of greed, money. All they seem to care about is helping themselves. It's all me, me, me. It's like the age of selfishness. It's like, okay, you can understand being selfish in regards to a stranger, but when it comes to not looking after your own flesh and blood, I actually, it's beyond me. Like, I've been shot on from a great height by my own father, by my own mother, by my own grandmother, and even my auntie. That's my family. They've shot on me. I've been, my mother tried to kill me when I was born. That says it all, really. And like, my father did nothing for me. He abandoned me as a child and left me with his mother. My grandmother had to bring me up, not him, and he just pissed off. And I never saw him again, and he only came round when I was a teenager, probably because I had become rebellious, which is what happens to a lot of kids who get let down and have been abandoned or neglected in one form or another. I went through 8 foster homes, and like, now I've got kids of my own. Everything I work for, everything I get, it's all for them. I couldn't imagine treating my kids like that, letting my kids down, deserting them. I just couldn't ever imagine it. But yeah, it hasn't been a problem for my family. It's like, my father inherited like $500,000, probably near on $1 million, 10 years ago. And when I asked him for some money because I was barefoot and pregnant, I only asked him a couple of times for help, and on the second occasion he said, don't ever ask me again for another penny. This was with my second child, and was only because I was too pregnant and too sick to work. So he had just inherited all this money, and I didn't even know he'd inherited as much as what he had. They had kept this, my auntie and my father had kept it a secret from me, how much money that they'd actually inherited, probably because they didn't want to share it. And my father took 10 years to see his grandchildren, and when he did come around, eventually, about last year he came around, was when I actually found out how much money he really did have, and that he'd been lying to me the whole time, because I couldn't understand why it had taken him 10 years to see his granddaughter. He'd never seen his granddaughter. 10 years. Can you imagine? And he'd been telling me he was too broke. Oh, he couldn't afford the airfare. And I found out recently he'd inherited nearly $500,000 in cash and another 500,000 in assets. So what did he do with it, or what did he choose to do with it? Well, rather than see his grandchildren and see his only daughter, who he abandoned and has done nothing for, he decided that it was his right to go and blow it all and gamble it all on casinos, or some skanky meth whore that he's been hanging around with. I don't know, prostitutes probably. And that's his right to do what he wants with it. So my auntie recently told me that he was meant to leave one of the houses he inherited to his daughter, his only daughter, and his grandchildren, which he sold and blew on gambling and drugs, and he ended up in jail this year, actually, at the age of 74. So what's the moral of the story? I'm not sure. You can't pick your parents, and they're all assholes, and everyone's a fucking asshole, probably, and you can't even trust your own fucking blood. They'd rather see you on the street, you and your kids on the street, nothing, while they go and fucking do what the fuck they want with what they've got, because they're a selfish asshole. And it's just the society that we're in. It's not just him, is it? He is the product of our society, and this is the way it is these days. Most kids are fucked, even if they come from good homes or families who do have money. The family doesn't give a fuck. They're selfish assholes, like that generation of me, me, me. You know, the generation I'm talking about. The me, me, me generation. And I feel sorry for the millennials and the kids of today, because their parents have squandered, like mine, squandered everything, gone and brought up all the property, so that their kids can't have a place to live. Half of Auckland, where I live, rent. We all have to rent. So, I mean, it's one thing about royal families, they do have loyalty. They hand down their fortunes, that's why they're so rich. They keep things in the family. But then you've got like the blood over intent community that calls themselves a family. And look at the way that they've been behaving. It's all in exactly the same manner. I mean, everyone's stabbing each other up. Why? Because they don't agree with something someone said or what someone's done. Is it any different? You could go and join a cult. You could go and join it, and it's still the same. People are just happy to stab each other up. Is it a human condition? I don't know. But anyway, I had to talk about that. Maybe some of you guys have similar problems or have similar family to me, and but yeah, there is no loyalty anymore, and it's pretty sad. You got to look after yourself these days. You've got to be independent. No one's going to look after you. You can't rely on others, and you can't rely on your own blood family. You have to find your own way in this world. You can't rely on any family. All you've got is yourself. So I hope that enlightened you, and stay wild, stay healthy, and have fun. Bye for now.